Welcome to the program. Your host, Ron Whitlock, with a montage and a hodgepodge of presidential elections as it involves South Texas and the March 4th primary, which I'm sure you're getting ready to vote in, trying to determine who to vote for. We're going to try to help you make that determination because Hispanic South Texas helped elect George W. Bush, governor of Texas and president of the United States, and this Hispanic voting group is concerned about whether to support Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama because of that misplaced trust in their minds in the current sitting president of the United States, George Bush. Now, we talked to Henry Cuellar on the phone. He will be involved in this discussion for candidate Hillary Clinton. We also asked a question of Senator Kennedy. We'll have that on the program. But in the studio, we are pleased to have Gus Garcia, who is a city councilman, city of Edinburg, one of only two, count them, only two elected officials in the entire county of Hidalgo who has endorsed Barack Obama for President of the United States. The Lone Ranger and his associate, Mayor Joe Ochoa. Why are you endorsing Barack Obama?
You know, that's a complicated answer, but I'll try to do the best I can. I think when I first realized that Barack Obama was a presidential hopeful for the United States, I felt it was pertinent, or I felt it was important to get the exposure down here in the lower valley because he could possibly win this election. I think it's important that we bring him down to the valley to address the issues and see that there's a lot of things that are important to this community.
So if he's elected, he'll have at least two phone numbers, Mayor Joe Ochoa of Edinburg and one of the councilmen.
It's better than zero.
In the name of Gus Garcia.
Absolutely. I think it's better than having no phone numbers in the lower South Texas region. I think we have a lot of issues that are dynamic and different in the United States or other parts of the region, and for us to dismiss the fact that Barack Obama could be our Democratic nominee would be remiss of all our legislators down here, all our elected officials.
Bravo. And a third phone number, Eddie Lucio III.
That's right.
Who was on the last program talking in behalf of Barack Obama. Now we're going to have Senator Edward Kennedy talking also about Barack Obama on the program, so stay tuned. But first of all, we want to talk about the fact that this economy, pre-NAFTA, before Bill Clinton gave us NAFTA, we had a 15% unemployment rate in the Rio Grande Valley, as you recall. Now, economy of the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas, booming, up par with any place in the United States, great economy, great unemployment rate. However, President Bush, with his U.S. visit policies, causing business to decline 50% along the Rio Grande Valley, effective February 1st. Now in Mexico, those 50% decline, some 80%, going to be impacting moving into the Rio Grande Valley. Mr. Garcia, why should this audience vote for Barack Obama? Will he solve the problems created by our sitting president with U.S. visit, strangling our economy, strangling legal trade and commerce, not building the third dam as he said he would, building walls rather than improving the natural barrier of the Rio Grande River, which, if it takes them longer to swim that river than it would to climb a wall, improving our river would be better.
I think Barack Obama has addressed this issue on many different fronts. He's mentioned that he doesn't believe in a wall or a barrier all across the United States border between Texas and Mexico or throughout the United States. He said that, yeah, he believes in a wall in certain areas where it's appropriate, as Hillary Clinton has said. So I think they both share that same vision as far as what the wall needs to be or where it needs to be.
They told us that via satellite on the last program.
That's right, and I happened to watch that. As far as free trade agreement, NAFTA is a huge boom to this economy, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think we need NAFTA. Barack is addressing issues, especially like China, but he's also addressing NAFTA, saying he wants to amend the NAFTA or the free trade agreement that we have with Mexico and Canada.
Isn't that bad faith to change a treaty with our neighboring country, Mexico?
Well, I think that we have to really dig deep into seeing what he has to do. When you say amend and change or stop or be opposed are two different things. Obviously, there's workers.
No, it means changing the status quo, and the status quo has the economy of South Texas, Hispanic families, Anglo families employed, bringing money, making money, everything but health care, which we don't have.
I agree. We live in a unique side of the world, or a unique side of the United States. There's issues here that are far different than issues, let's say, in Iowa or Illinois or New York. There's people out there that are complaining they lost jobs to NAFTA.
Then why has your candidate not come to the Valley as of this taping, and Hillary's been here twice?
This is precisely why we as elected leaders need to bring him down here. This man could win the national, or could win the Democratic nomination. How can we not bring him down here and tell him, listen, NAFTA is a good thing. It brings jobs.
Because the institutional knowledge of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton over the last 20 years, with her coming down first job out of college to help in the voter registration in Hispanic communities in this region, we cannot replace that institutional knowledge with a man who's never been here before.
I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, we have to show Obama saying that he wants to amend it because he believes that the amount of commerce and the jobs it was going to create was overstated. But if we can bring him down here and we say, look, you know, Senator Obama, there are tons of jobs being created. There's tons of commerce happening down here. And these are some of the issues you need to address. Yes, you want to amend it. Yes, you want to take an educated and sophisticated approach to how we're going to amend it. But you need to be aware of the issues. And the fact that he may win the presidential nomination or he may win the presidency of this state or this country, he needs to be aware of what's happening down here. And me as a elected official, I have to do my best to bring down these elected officials or these people that have an opportunity to win and see what they have.
Now, Barack Obama told an audience in Houston last evening on CNN that jobs, he related the NAFTA situation with jobs as it relates to the opinions and policies of the unions who are backing Barack Obama. Because of that, we had a question posed to Senator Edward Kennedy about his position and Barack Obama's on NAFTA. Here's what Senator Kennedy responded to as it relates to our question.
What he understands is that we need an industrial policy, don't we? And that is what we don't have. As is speaking of the president in terms of a national, and that he believes is important that we develop. We have not developed that. All we have had is agreements that too often have been at the expense of workers rather than the long-range interests of the country. And he believes that those issues are adjustable, and we haven't had an administration that has been interested in Wall Street rather than Main Street. But he believes that those issues can be harmonized, and he's explained, he outlined in very considerable detail what specific ideas he had up in Michigan about 10 days ago, and I'm not sure I can really add to that. The United States has to be an industrial nation. We can't provide national security unless we have an industrial base, and that industrial base is rapidly disappearing, and we need to have that. He understands that, and that's important. And he also believes that you can have trade but also have the protections of environment and protection of workers' rights, and I think that's what he wants to try and do.
Here's what Barack Obama told us.
Well, I think it's very important for us to look at the infrastructure in the region. Levees are going to be absolutely critical, and I think we have to design those levees in a way that they can withstand a Category 4 or 5 storm. They aren't in the kind of shape that they need to be. I think it's also important for us to look at what kinds of natural barriers might be available to deal with some of the storms that could arise, because if we are oftentimes building man-made barriers, but we don't have the natural barriers that have been put in place, then we can be overwhelmed no matter how much we invest. So I think it's important for us to combine environmentally sound approaches with infrastructure improvements. That's something that has been lacking under this administration. It's something that I would make a top priority.
Now, Councilman Garcia, supporter of Barack Obama, you heard your candidate tell us that he's in favor of improving the levee system in the Valley, protecting this economy, $200 billion in assets if it's wiped out, that FEMA's going to have to come in and make whole like they did in New Orleans. This is a binational situation, economically and otherwise. So your candidate is saying he's going to make it a priority to build us the dam we need that President Bush said he would build and look at building and did not build, and levees that he said he would begin task forces to come down, look at getting the money to rebuild our levees in 2005, did not do so. At least your candidate's on board on protecting the valley because Obama's been to New Orleans and seen what happened in that community.
Again, that's why it's so important that leadership like Eddie Lucio III, Mayor Joe Ochoa, and myself bring him down here. And we have been pushing to get him down here, and finally we're going to have him here, and he's going to be able to see firsthand what our issues are, especially issues like yourself, like what you just mentioned. It's important that we have him down here so that we can show him and tell him what exactly our issues are so he can address those and make him make those promises face to face to the elected leadership down here so that we have those numbers we can call and say, hey, where are you on this? Have you addressed it? You said it was going to be a priority. Make it a priority. And I think you're going to see that once Barack Obama does get the nomination, all of the other elected leadership in this area are going to also start talking to Barack Obama. I think he has a real shot at winning the presidential nomination for the Democratic Party. And
Congressman Henry Cuellar with the Hillary Clinton entourage in Brownsville via cell phone talked to us in studio, which Hillary Clinton and her staff refused to do. At the last moment, by the way, Hillary Clinton's spokesperson, Henry Cuellar, responding to the Barack Obama prioritizing of improving our levees, building the third dam, had this to say of what he thinks Hillary Clinton will do if she gets your vote and is elected President of the United States.
Well, first of all, Hillary Clinton has focus on the economy. She understands that we need to create jobs here in the United States. She understands, just like President Clinton realized back in the early 90s, and if you recall, we had economic prosperity under Bill Clinton. She will do the same thing because she understands that you got to find a partnership between the public and the private sector to create those jobs. And this is why I think she is the best candidate because, first of all, she understands the economy is important. Second of all, she understands very, very much the South Texas. She has been to South Texas so many times in the last years, and we do know that she understands what's important to us here in South Texas.
Has she committed to you to complete I-69 to the Valley and to Laredo to implement further all of the transfer of legitimate trade and travel from the Valley and South Texas all across the nation?
Well, she understands that transportation is very important, and one of the things that we're facing, not only at the state, but at the federal level, is we're facing a shortage in dollars for transportation dollars. Clinton also understands that in order for economies to keep growing, you've got to have good transportation arteries, because without those lanes, those highways, we're not going to be able to move our goods and services on a fast pace, which is important for this new modern economy. So she will work with us to make sure that we get more transportation dollars. So here in the Valley and in other parts of the state of Texas, we can have good highway systems that will rapidly move our 18-wheelers, that will rapidly move our vehicles in a safe way, but again in a rapid method.
Have you talked to her specifically about the third dam project, which would be a boon to your community, flood control for Laredo? Above, it would be a recreational asset with a big lake above Laredo. It would provide flood protection for Maquilas on both sides of the border, from Laredo all the way to Brownsville, protect the economy.
Well, I can commit her, but I would say this, is I'm sure she will listen to the communities. So we'll have an opportunity to talk to her about ways that we ought to use the river as a natural boundary, a smart way of protecting border security, making sure that we have border security, because we in the border, we understand, and she understands, that border security is important, but you cannot impede trade or tourism, which is so important to our local border economies.
So Congressman Cuellar tells us via cell phone that he's going to talk to Hillary about it. Doesn't have an answer at this point. He'll try to convince her to take a look at building that third international dam specified in the 1944 treaty, never built out. We would have not had our $1 billion in economic loss during the Mexican water debt crisis had that dam been built, and that water supply and flood control infrastructure been there to protect Laredo all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. Now, in the area of health care, Barack Obama, your candidate, what is he going to do if elected president of the United States, gets the votes of this 90% Hispanic community, 3 million people, both sides, United States and Mexico. Some of those people in Mexico come over and vote, by the way. What's going to happen to health care with the highest level of uninsured, 37% by and large, Laredo, all the way to Brownsville? What's going to happen to these families and the health care needs and the health care infrastructure on our hospital clinics, such as what you're an owner of, if in fact something's not done by any party, any of the candidates running, as it relates to improving access to health care by providing an access through some form of insured hospital care?
You know, Barack has stated on many occasions that he's going to try and make sure that every single citizen in the United States is going to have affordable health care or access to affordable health care.
And basically, Hillary has basically done the same.
That's right.
Their policies,
That's right.
their policy walks tell us they're basically almost in sync on this.
That's right. And I think Barack has made it clear that he's not going to lie to the American public and tell them this is going to happen without tax increases or without trying to find ways to fund this. It's going to be a very real problem that us as a society or us as a nation have to tackle. Social Security is going out the door. Medicare is going to be struggling. We have to address this problem, because if we don't, we're going to have a real crisis on our hands. If you don't address healthcare problems with preventive medicine or address them before they become a real problem, the social cost of trying to take care of those medical costs are far outweigh the cost of handling them now. What I mean by that is an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And I think Barack Obama has taken that position. I believe he's taken that position to say, you know what, we have to address it. It may be costly in the beginning. It may cost the taxpayers money. But you know what, if we don't address it now, we don't find the funds for it somehow, some way, down the road, where it's going to cost us a heck of a lot more. And I am a believer in that philosophy. And I think Barack Obama is addressing that same philosophy when he talks about health care, that we have to find a way to fund health care crisis that we're experiencing right now. We're one of the richest nations, if not the richest nation in the world. And yet we have so many people that are suffering and can't afford health care for their children. My God, if you have a child who's a young child is suffering from whatever illness it might be, and they have to choose between going to the emergency room or going to see the doctor and paying for their car payment or paying for groceries to put food on the table for their children, that's a travesty, and that's something that we have to address now as a nation. And I believe Barack Obama is passionate about that. I'm not saying Hillary Clinton is not, but I believe that he's going to make that one of his top priorities and try and fix it now with real answers and real truth to the American public, whether it creates tax increases or not.
My hope to you, as a supporter of Barack Obama, is that, and the Rio Grande Valley's interest behind that, as you just stated, I would hope that Barack Obama will come, spend some time in the region. She's been here twice. She's been here many times over the years. The institutional knowledge that Hillary Clinton and her husband Bill Clinton, who will be in the White House with her for 4 to 8 years, if in fact she's elected, he'll be there at her side. That's an asset that the Rio Grande Valley has to look at as it relates to the lack of knowledge Barack Obama has in this region and the Rio Grande Valley.
You mentioned that Hillary Clinton has so much more experience than Barack Obama in the legislature, in politics.
No, in institutional experience in the Rio Grande Valley, coming to the Rio Grande Valley, right, walking our streets, drinking our water, breathing our Mexican air, coming off Mexico out of the southeast all the year long. By virtue of that, she knows us. Barack Obama does not know us.
You know, when you mentioned that Hillary Clinton has been walking the streets of the Valley for many, many years, I know that there's been talk that she came back in I think it was 35 years ago during the George McGovern or the McGovern campaign, where she was trying to get out the vote for McGovern. Since that time, in the last, I guess, 10 or 15 years, I don't think I've witnessed Hillary Clinton come down and actually walk the streets. I know that she's come to political parties where she was generating funds or generating money for her campaign, but as far as the grassroots campaign...
Only $1 million during this campaign against Barack Obama's contribution number of 3,800.
But I don't remember Hillary doing any grassroots campaigning or walking the streets or doing the things, getting to know the public down here, getting to know the citizens in our community. I think that...
Neither has Barack Obama.
I agree with that 100%. But you know what? He needs to come down here, and we need to bring him down here, because if this man becomes the next president of the United States...
You think maybe he'll talk to me where Hillary wouldn't talk to me today?
You know, I can't speak for him. I think it'd be presumptuous of me to say and answer that, all right? But
Eddie Lucio III said the same.
Is that right? I think he'll talk to you. I don't think he'll be afraid to come on your show.
Okay, I'll take that as a good answer.
You know, if I get an opportunity to talk to him and we sit down and we discuss things, I'll definitely say come out to Ron Whitlock and discuss the issues with him, because he has a lot to say.
Big issue: immigration reform. The Rio Grande Valley in South Texas, $3 billion on both sides. Big economy serving the nation, keeping the economies of Mexico and the U.S. alive. Who knows how many people are living on this side of the border, this side of the Rio Grande, who are illegal, who contribute to this economy. So when will they be made citizens of the United States? In behalf of your candidate, Obama, Senator Edward Kennedy had this to say today in Edinburg.
I want to underline this. He understands that we have 1.5 million Hispanics today that are qualified to become citizens and are being denied their right to vote because the Bush administration refuses to expedite the process to permit these individuals to work through the system. That is denying Latinos, Hispanics that have complied, played by the rules, the opportunity to participate in this. And that is outrageous and unacceptable. And Barack Obama understands it, and I understand it, and we are going to work hard now to try and change that system so that they will be able to get involved.
Obama said, according to Edward Kennedy, that he would grant citizenship to the millions of Hispanics who are being deprived now by the Bush administration. Sound good?
I think that we definitely need to look at the citizenship of so many people who've been living here for years, providing economic benefit to our area. We're all immigrants at some point in time. Our ancestors came to this country. I think it would be bad of us or wrong of us to say, you know what, we no longer are going to open our doors. We're no longer going to let you be a citizen of the United States of America and have the opportunity to grow or have the opportunity to raise a family or create a better life for yourself. But there has to be a sophisticated approach that's going to make sure that citizenship or becoming a citizen of the United States of America is going to work for the United States of America. There's a tremendous burden on health care, a tremendous burden on all the services here in the United States, on education. So if people are going to become citizens of this great nation, we got to make sure that we do it in a way that systematically doesn't damage the fabric of our society, the fabric of our economy, the fabric of our education, the fabric of our healthcare system. All these things have to be, it's a puzzle that all of these things have to be looked at in a sophisticated way. No question about it, Hillary Clinton is very intelligent. No question about it, John McCain is very intelligent. So is Barack Obama. They're all intelligent people that I think will get a cabinet, and also, let's not forget about our legislature, our Congress, and our Senate that are going to address these issues as well. All qualified individuals that we elect to ferret through all of these things that are happening. So I don't think Barack Obama is going to just in one fell swoop make a decision that's going to change the way we see things on immigration, but he's definitely going to take an approach and try and unite the Republicans and Democrats on both sides of the aisle and try and make things better for this society, and I believe he can do that.
Election Day, March 4th in the Rio Grande Valley. So tell them why they need to vote for Barack Obama.
We're experiencing something in this nation that we haven't experienced in a long time. Barack Obama is about an American movement of change. I feel that Barack is the best candidate to make this movement come to fruition. Obviously, the people in the United States are speaking out and saying we're tired of the same old thing, where all the politicians are continuing to just move across the board and be chess pieces that they just take their turn in political seats. Barack Obama is a fresh person, inspiring. He's getting the people out there. He's making us feel good about getting out and being part of this election process. I believe Barack Obama is going to inspire the American public to come out and vote and see that change happen.
Were it not for the Hillary Clinton campaign pulling back on their understanding that they would do an interview either at the Dodge Arena or here at Channel 5 studios in Whitlock or in Brownsville, she would be on this camera in this studio at this moment speaking to you about her campaign for president. That's why she's not here, and this gentleman for Barack Obama is. Get out the vote March 4th. Till then, we'll try to keep you informed. Till then, adios.